Hi, guys. Uh, Welcome to another episode of Rico's Rants. I am your host, Rico DiGiorgio, and I'm going to try and get through this video as much as I can without crying too much. I actually have spent the good chunk of this movie tearing up, welling up, tears just sort of softly dripping down my face like a big child. Um, I chose this movie because it looked entertaining and it looked familiar to something that I have gone through and something I can relate to. The movie's called The Edge of 17, and it's got a lot of buzz right now because it's funny, it's real. I don't know how else to say it apart from, I'm still welling up. It's actually really fucking good. I don't know. I don't really know the whole name, the cast, so I apologize in advance. I don't know who directed it. I don't know who produced it. Actually, I do know who produced it, but I don't know who directed it, and I'm sorry because I really like to do reviews that are quick, emotional. Right after I just saw it, everything's still fresh. I should have written notes, but I was fucking crying the whole time, so I couldn't write anything. Okay, so there's this reoccurring theme in Hollywood and in films where they're always trying to connect to the young generation. They're always trying to connect with a teen comedy, and oh, we understand. Occasionally, there's a good one. Occasionally, there's one that gets it pretty spot on. You can go, but like there are classics like Dazed and Confused, but that's particularly set in a specific time period. There's not really like the only one that I can really kind of pinpoint that is timeless would be Superbad, because Superbad is all about the awkwardness of being a teenager. But you don't necessarily like Superbad works without being an 80s film because it's not. And it also works despite the fact there are cell phones in it. If you took like the modern technology out, it would very much work as a film. Not here to talk about Superbad. I'm here to talk about The Edge of 17. And the reason why I fucking love this film is Haley Steinfeld is so good in this. Like, this is the girl who was in the remake of True Grit. And she was great in that, and she was like 9 or something, or I don't know how young she was in that, but I remember seeing that in 2010, so 7 years ago. And I saw it with my friend, and we were both like, this movie was really good, but she fucking rocks in this. Like, she knocks it out of the park. She's going toe-to-toe with big actors like Matt Damon and fucking Josh Brolin and fucking Jeff Bridges. Like, she's going toe-to-toe with them, not holding back, and you're almost more interested in her, even though she's the narrator in a weird way. Her character is the main sort of character in this film. So back then, I was like, this girl's got something. She's talented. She's gonna be a star, man. You watch. She didn't become a star. Like, she became an actress. Like, she's a legitimate actress, and it's. I have no clue what film she's done. I don't know if she's done anything like a big time teen movie where, she's not in a franchise. I don't remember. I don't think she was in the Hunger Games or anything like that. She's been mostly doing small indie films as far as I know. This being one of them, this is okay. I've been gushing about the movie without explaining the movie. The movie, she is a awkward 17-year-old girl who spoiler, and this is not really a major spoiler, but I'm going to spoil some of the parts of the movie. Not going to spoil the major. It's not major because it's immediately shown within like 10 minutes of the film. Her father dies, and her father was the one that she was the closest with, and her mother is played by Kira Sedgwick. And I've never particularly liked her as an actress, but she's pretty good in this. There's something about her. I don't know. I never liked The Closer. Never saw any of other. Really enjoyed any of their other movies, and I can't really name any that at the top of my head. But she's good in this. But her father is just sort of like, we're gonna, he's very much the ringleader of the group. She doesn't get along with her mother, and she's got an older, assuming older brother. Who is very good looking and very popular, and she's not. So her father dies, and then like we jump ahead 5 years later, and she's still grieving, and she's still before her father died, she was a weird, awkward person, and sort of in her own world, and just an awkward teenager. But after her father died, she became a hardcore, cynical, but still weird and still witty, dry sense of humor person that even though she has lost her role model, she gets through it. And she feels more alone. The beginning of the film focuses on her first friendship that she made and how they were inseparable from the beginning. And then it jumps to, her awkward phase, and then how, like, at this point, they're on the edge of 17. Junior in high school. I mean, listen. Anybody who has gone to high school who was not popular does not enjoy high school. I do not understand the people who say, oh man, high school was the best years of my life. Really? Was it really? Was it for me? Most of school was not fun for me. I really related to this film because I was and am an awkward social slight outcast. I had glasses. My name is Rico, so I had a weird name, and I was bringing healthy lunches to school, and I was short, and I was nerdy looking and geeky, and I was listening to Frank Sinatra at 8 and opera and shit, and I couldn't connect with my generation, but I really so desperately wanted to, but at the same time was very grateful that I was different. And it was it's a very difficult time to be a teenager when you're trying to explore your own individuality and uniqueness, at the same time wanting to be like everyone else, to be accepted, to be part of a clique, to be part of a social world. I tried some things that I didn't like and didn't have any interest in because other people were, and they still didn't accept me. So I said, I don't care. I'll go my own way. Fuck people. Fuck what people say. Fuck what people think. And that's what this girl is doing. She has her best friend, and that's it. Just her one friend. And her father dies, and now her mother is sort of an emotional wreck and is very dependent on the brother to sort of be the man of the house and to control the sister. Because she's weird. She's awkward. Listen, teenagers don't need to be controlled. They need to be talked to and understood. When you tell a teenager, I understand, and you're older than them, their automatic response is, No, you don't. You don't understand. No one understands me. I'm all alone. Because every teenager feels like they're alone. Which is why they put themselves in risky situations to be accepted and to try something new because they feel numb, because they feel they're alone in the world. Don't ask. Don't say, I understand. Tell them, make me understand. Explain to me what's going on with you. I will listen. No one needs to talk to a teenager. We all need to listen. There were many, many, many times when I wish I had someone to listen to me. I had a lot to say. I always have a lot to say. And that's what this character is going through. She feels isolated. She's going through grief. And she's trying to shrug it off as a cynical, dry, sarcastic girl. And granted, I can't relate to being a teenage girl, but I can relate to being a teenage boy at one point. And it sucked. 25 is not much better. But that's also my outlook. I relate to this girl because I also have a very much a cynical, dry sense of humor, but I'm working at it. But I had to get to a point where I was like, this is not the right method. I should try to be a little bit more optimistic. I have to be a little bit more sappy because unfortunately there's no gray for me. I'm either really depressing and dark or I'm really upbeat and energetic and obnoxiously optimistic. There's no in between for me. So at one point her best friend, and this is when they're older, her best friend hooks up with her older brother. Now she feels betrayed. Now she feels like the one person who's supposed to have her back this entire time doesn't, because she jerked off her brother, essentially. And what it doesn't get explained, but what I understood was she's upset because now she has to compete with her brother, who she doesn't particularly like and doesn't particularly understand, thinks that her friend may have been using her friendship to get closer to her brother, and also that maybe she doesn't want to be her friend in the first place, that she, is just using it as a way of getting closer, not just to the brother, but to his popular friends. That she's no longer interested in being another outcast with the outcast. She wants to be popular. Because we all want to be popular in a weird, fucked up way. Some of us want the attention on ourselves. Some of us want to be acknowledged for our accomplishments, big or small. People, we want to go out the pretty girl or the pretty guy sometimes. We want to be at least asked out. That's what this girl's going through. And there's this really fucked up scene where she tells her friend, pick it. Pick me or him. Pick me, pick now. I've had your back since the second grade. Pick me or him. And she's like, I'm not, and her friend's like, I'm not going to do that. I won't do that. And he's like, fine, then we're done. And her friend called her bluff and said, fine, we're done. Now, that one friend's down to zero. Now she truly is alone and feels more alone than ever. There's a couple parts where she goes to her history teacher, played brilliantly by Woody Harrelson. And I don't ever say that. I like Woody Harrelson in some films. He's great. He sort of plays the same type of weird, snarky Texan that he does. Except in True Detective. He's great in True Detective. In this one, he is another snarky type of guy, but he is very much like a teacher. You can see he has a heart, but he also is like, I don't want to be here. I'm done. I'm tired. I don't give a fuck. And Haley Steinfeld's character, and you can tell this has happened more than once, goes in and says, hey, I'm going to kill myself today. She's looking for someone to talk to. She's looking for a friend. She's not really going to kill herself, but she means that she doesn't want to live at that moment. And I can relate to that as well. I'm going to get dark and morbid on you. I have had very depressing thoughts. I have suffered through depression. I have suffered through anxiety. I still do suffer from depression and anxiety. I've had really bad days. I've had really bad nights, and I've had really bad, sick thoughts of harming myself. Do I want to kill myself? No. But there are days where I don't want to live anymore. Like, I just don't, just peaceful sleep and not wake up. I understand what she's meaning. I understand what she's talking about. And that's why I was crying. Because never really once has a film that I've seen captured that teen angst and loneliness and isolation and being just so fed up, but also not wanting to commit suicide. You know, you can go to a movie like Dead Poet Society, which talks about teen suicide, or you could talk about, you know, teen angst, like in An American Pie. And they cover those subjects, but not as literal and raw and funny, but not slapsticky or raunchy and not a teen sex comedy. This is a real mature way of looking at teen bullshit. So when she goes to Woody Harrelson and says, "I'm going to kill myself today," he says, "You know, it's funny you say that, because I was just myself writing my own suicide note." And he starts quoting something that clearly is not written. He's bullshitting. But he says, like, you know, I'm done with you. I'm done with this class. I'm done with this life. Every day I'm allowed 28 minutes of my lunch period, and I'm always interrupted by this one girl who, you know, has shitty taste in shoes and won't shut up. So thank you for the memories. Bye-bye. And I'm going to go kill myself. And she's just like, you're a dick. And that's cool to see an adult he's not the cool teacher, but he's the teacher that's like, listen, high school sucks for everyone, teachers and students. Let's make the best of it. Let's get through this together. So I really love that. There's a couple parts where you could tell she's now trying to be normal. She's trying to not be an outcast. She puts on makeup and puts on a dress. She accidentally, but impulsively, on purpose, kind of, like she writes this out and then accidentally sends it, this monologue, this love letter, and sometimes in parts a lust letter. She gets very graphic in what she wants to do to this popular guy who she's barely talked to, but has always had a crush on and has always felt a connection with. He gets it. He responds and says, let's hook up. I'll pick you up, blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't say shit to her, and she's all nervous because she thinks, she says at one point, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I've thought about this for years and blah, blah, blah. And he takes her to an alley, essentially, and, like, even, like, parks in front of a place that says dump, and, like, it's a dump. And he does it and then he, like, without even, like, instigating or talking to her, just starts lowering her seat back, and then gets in front of her, like, straddles her, and starts making out with her, and groping her, and it's very, I mean, I don't know who the actor is, but I fucking hated this guy. I was like, oh, you get the fuck off her, man. Talk to her. Be a gentleman. Fucking, you know, try a little tenderness. Try a fucking hug. You know, listen to her. Talk to her. Anything. Don't just fucking go for the tit, man. Come on. And then I realized I'm yelling at a fucking screen about a teenage girl. And that's why I love this movie, because it really fucking made me passionate for something that I haven't had to deal with. I haven't had to deal with high school shit for 7 years. Fuck! 7 years. But But also, to be fair, I dropped out of high school when I was 15, so we're going 10 years. Fuck! 10 years! Holy shit. I'm old. Anyways, she is like, she stops him. It's like, stop, stop. And he does the whole, what do you want? Like, you sent me this whole monologue, what you want to fucking do to me. You told me you want to fuck at my job. What do you want to do? What do you want? And she's like, I don't know. I'm just nervous and I'm scared. I'm awkward. I don't know what to do. And instead of talking to her, listening, and figuring shit out and going for a walk or something, which she proposes, he just gets all huffy and says, look, maybe you should just get out of my car. And she is afraid of being rejected, leans out and starts like, no, please don't go. And she starts kissing him on the neck to get him to stay. This fucking idiot thinks he's now in the clear, starts groping her leg again, and she pushes her hand away, and he says, God, what the fuck is wrong with you? Make up your fucking mind. And she, in a very eloquently way, tells him to go fuck himself. And I loved it. And then she gets out of the car, runs away. Meanwhile, this whole time, her mom is trying to find her, her brother is trying to find her, her friend is trying to find her. She winds up at Woody Harrelson's house, realizes, and hangs out with him. He has a family, and he's happy, and he's jovial, and he's playing with his baby. He's playing around and making funny, fart sounds, and she's looking at this like, this is not what I expected. I expected this guy to be just like me, to be morose, cynical, angry, depressed, maybe, living alone with a cat. By the way, people who live alone with cats are not bad people. I have a cat. My cat's awesome. I think that she had an epiphany. Just like, you know what? People that suffer can be happy. Her mom has this great scene where she says, you know what I do when I'm down? I get really quiet, really still, and I say, everyone is just as miserable and alone as me, but they're better at pretending it to be happy. Which really hit me I was like, fuck! That's pretty good, man. I've almost said the exact same shit. And I should start. It's a good line. Because when you break it down, there are a lot of unhappy people. There are a lot of happy people. But every happy person has had to have some sadness in their life, or some angst, or some rage. Every sad person has had happy moments. We're all different, and we're all the same. We're all stupid fucking people, alone in the universe, trying to find people to get through life together. That's all. The meaning of life, solved it. Done. Meaning of life is to try and have as good a one as possible, if you can. That's it. This is such a good movie. I can't even... It made me cry. And it made me rage the fuck out over a high school dilemma. When the fuck was the last time a movie made you have a crisis of identity and be like, is this movie about me? Am I an angry little fucking girl that Haley Steinfeld played? Is that what my issue is? No. My issue is I care too much about everything. And nothing at the same time. Please, I'm talking to you. Please go see The Edge of 17. And if you didn't have the same opinion as me, then you were one of the popular kids. And I hope you're fucking happy. Honestly, I'd give this movie 5 stars. It was not a perfect film. It was very much an indie film. But my rating system is all over the place. If I say something's 5 stars, I mean it's 5 fucking stars. I would watch this movie again. I'm gonna buy the movie when it comes out. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to say, save me a copy when this is going on the shelves for sale. That's how much I love this film. Yeah, again, Woody Harrelson was great. Haley Steinfeld was great. She was great. I want to see more of her. Not meant to be creepy. I want to see more of her as an actress. She's phenomenal. She will win an Oscar. I promise you. And she needs to do more shit. Really. She's really, really funny in this. Really dry sense of humor. Quick, witty banter. And you could tell, I don't want it to make it be all about me. But I related to her because I had to develop a wit at a very young age. Because I looked weird. Because I sounded weird. Because I said weird things. Because I listened to weird shit. Whatever. I was an outcast, so I had to learn to be very funny and very witty to get girls to like me. To get guys to like me. To get anyone to like me. So, she does the same thing. Please go see this movie. 5 stars. I'm done. I'm probably going to watch another movie tonight, and I might review that one too. So, please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please see The Edge of 17. Mwah! Love you all.